My name's Connie Gross, and I'm an infant and early childhood mental health consultant for the Children's Resource Center in Bowling Green, Ohio. And today I'm bringing you a quick strategy video, discipline versus punishment. There's a lot that could be said about this topic, and oftentimes these two words are used interchangeably, discipline and punishment. But they do not mean the same thing. And so hopefully after viewing this video, you'll have a better idea of what the differences are and how possibly discipline could be implemented. So before we get into the material, I thought I'd just share this quick quote with you. It's from the Whole Brain Child. It says, "Too often we forget that discipline really means to teach, not to punish. A disciple is a student, not a recipient of behavioral consequences." And that, of course, was from Dr. Dan Siegel. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on punishment, but just so we have a basic understanding, punishment in general is a response to a challenging behavior or situation that we feel like the child needs to pay some type of retribution, or they need a loss of privilege, item, or time. And the idea behind that is that that will be so uncomfortable that the child won't engage in those negative or challenging behaviors again. What we know, though, is that frequently challenging behaviors are around the idea that the child doesn't have the skills to deal with the situation. And so they act in ways that are not socially appropriate or not meet their caregiver's expectations. And so we want to think about how can we foster growth so that they're better able to handle those situations. I'm just going to give a quick illustration. Punishment would be if we had a couple of kids and a truck, and they were playing with the truck and then started kind of fighting over the truck. Punishment might look like us saying something like, "You're fighting over the truck. We're going to put the truck away since we can't share it." That's the idea that, because you can't get along and play with the truck, that we're going to just put the truck up. And in that moment, it does stop the fight because the truck is gone. However, it doesn't teach a new skill. And so what we might see is when we do give the truck back at a later time and social conflict arises again, that it's handled in the same way. They start fighting again because they haven't learned any new skills to deal with that. So we're going to take a look at discipline and we're going to revisit that illustration in a couple minutes. Discipline fosters connection, and the primary focus is on teaching new skills. Um, some positives about that is that it leads to good feelings. There shouldn't be a time when we're using discipline where a caregiver might feel bad about the situation or like they need to go back and apologize, which often does happen with punishment. They also aren't threatened with their sense of belonging. It's not a shaming interaction. So the parent, caregiver, child, they still feel connected and like they all belong, like they're growing together towards that common goal of building new skills. It teaches children responsibility and life skills. And it's done by providing guidance using communication, problem solving, and empathy for your child's big emotions. And finally, it has a prevention focus. So we're not just thinking about this fight over the truck in this moment, but we're thinking long term. What kind of skills does my child need to be able to deal with conflict so that they can later not have as many conflicts? So if we revisit that idea about the trucks, discipline might be something like saying to our children, "I see you are both angry because you want to turn with the truck and we only have one of those trucks. I wonder what could we do about it so that you both can feel good." Now, if your child is older or has lots of experience problem solving, that might be enough. They might be able to come up with some good solutions right then. But for younger children or less experienced problem solvers, they're probably going to need additional support. And so you might say something like, "What if we set a timer for 10 minutes and you each got a turn with the truck?" Or what about if we worked together and we tried to find a similar truck or another vehicle that you could both play with each at the same time? Or what if one of you drove the truck and one of you loaded the truck? Or maybe you'd like to go play something totally different for now, and we could revisit the truck again later. So, giving them some possible solutions and then talking to them about which solution might work best. Sometimes kids will want to do something that isn't going to work, or they're not able to come to a compromise. And that's an opportunity for us to help them calm down and cope with the negative feeling of being disappointed. So if maybe they can't come to a conclusion together, they can't agree on what should be done, we might say something like, I know you're disappointed that it's not going to be your turn with the truck right now. I see that your face looks very sad. Would you like to come sit with me, or would you like me to come help you find something else to play with? So, giving them two appropriate choices of other activities they could do, offering them connection, labeling their feelings. All of that helps to foster the development of self regulation. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, that sounds really easy to do when we're not in this situation. But in the moment, when our child is maybe throwing a fit or acting in a way that we don't approve of, it's easy for even us to feel overwhelmed by behavior. And when that happens, we're likely to respond in a more punishment like way, where we might say or do things that we're not really pleased with after we've calmed down. So, in order to help us use discipline and teach our children new skills, it's important that we do these things to take care of ourselves. The first one is we want to take deep breaths, helps to regulate our body. The second one is positive self talk. It is normal when your children are doing something that you don't like for some negative thoughts to creep in. Maybe something like, oh, he does this every day, or another fit. But those types of thoughts help to add to our upset. And we really need to challenge those thoughts with positive self talk so that we're able to get through the moment calmly and handle it in the way that we'd hoped. So saying something to ourselves like, I can do this. Yes, he's upset, but I know how to help him. Or he can handle this. We'll work on it together. Saying thoughts like that to try to help keep yourself calm. And then finally, think about what skills your child has, and then also what he needs to be able to handle the situation that arises. You might find that your child is a really good problem solver. And so you might be able to say something like, oh, I see that you're frustrated, but you know what? You're such a good problem solver. I know we can figure this out together. Maybe communication is hard for him. And so you might be thinking about, well, what are some ways I can help him express himself if he's not able to totally use words? Maybe using visuals or signs, or maybe I can help label some things for him. So, doing those things will help to keep you calm and be able to keep you on the path of discipline as we're guiding our children rather than punishment. There's lots and lots of information for parents out there about this topic. Here are some resources that I used, and I hope that you'll check out our YouTube channel. We have over 200 videos for caregivers about a wide variety of social emotional wellness topics. And our Facebook page, we share resources every single day for caregivers. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.